All right, we're back in the shithole. Right, so things are obviously segregated here at the moment. We've got behind the plastic sheeting the wall of doom, which we'll look at in a minute. But the room is pretty much the same. Ghetto shelving and all that kind of stuff is up and running. You might not see it, but everything is coated in a nice healthy layer of dust. This was working beautifully, keeping all the dust out, and I was keeping it barricaded against there until when I was working on the wall and it was all really dusty in there, and there was actually a little hole in the wall that I've now repaired on the outside wall, and it was letting the dust out that way. Girlfriend came in and tugged on this, and it all came down and all the dust went that way. So at some stage I have a huge dusting and clean-up operation of everything that sits in this room, which will be hilarious to do. But that is not the topic of conversation today. The topic of action. Let's step inside. Come into my little orifice. Here we go. So it's actually like a mini little sound booth in here. Right, so this is the wall as it stands. Now there's only one wall. I haven't got any spiffy lenses here, so this is just with the iPhone. You can see that if I hoist you up, you can see that although this is like a several brick hole, the wall, the area to the outside, I've now bricked up, and that's been in there for quite a while, and that mortar's held up nicely. It's a little bit wonky on the other side, and eventually I have to go outside and refix it from the other side and just make sure it's all right. But for now, that's a good emergency remedial repair. What I'm concerning myself with today is holes. So we have this hole here. It's still pretty dusty, and I'm going to hoover all this kind of stuff out. So I've got this hole here to fix, potentially this hole here to fix. That hole's going to stay like that, and I'm just going to mortar in that. This is maybe an old lintel or maybe an old fireplace. It's not a fireplace around because it's not a chimney, but some sort of old support, maybe that's been put in there. It just goes into there and that's it, unless it's a spacer for a brick. Someone's put this in there instead of a brick, which I have seen before, which is a bit ludicrous, but that's what people used to do, and people still do today. We've got a broken brick in here, which I don't fancy keeping in if it's really bad. So rather than start taking bricks out, I'm going to leave that there and concentrate on fixing the holes. So if I take you up a bit, I'll go up onto the stairway thing. So there you go, you can see the bit I repaired earlier. So that was a few weeks ago that I've repaired that, and that's holding quite nicely. So I have to repair this bit, put a new brick in here, and then put a new brick in here. These bricks are super loose, but what I don't want to start doing is just pulling everything out and just obviously causing any sort of like extra stress on these things that doesn't need it. So I'm going to build up brick here, build up brick there, leave it all to set, and then once it's all set, I can pull this out, pull that out, clean that brick up and re-put it back in, and then remortar that brick back in, and then we'll start the whole process of just repointing everything, just adding mortar into this whole shebang until it's all fixed, and that's the plan. So the next job to do is break out the hoover. Since I'm repairing holes, I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm going to maybe hoover out, and God, you can see how dry it is and how fucked it is, but so look how dry and just gnarly all this is here. And this is partially why we're getting a bit of water in, because it's just letting water just seep in. This is a double layer brick wall, so I'm going to have to basically hoy that out, hoover it out, measure up and put a brick in into that one, and I'll have some spare mortar. So what I'll probably do is experiment with putting mortar in around the edges here. This is all being sort of like gouged out as best as I can. So I'll experiment with putting mortar in and all that kind of stuff. I should really chisel some of this out to get some depth in, but we shall. I mean, this seems to be all right. This stuff is quite hard. I think it's difficult to know, but because the wall's so wonky and anyway and old, I'm just gonna have to go with it. So there you go. So yeah, so clean up all the holes that I can. So I've got one 2 up there and then another 1/3 there. Maybe I'll do something with this down here, but this looks to be a bit of quite a bit of a project. I can see me getting very frustrated with this. I might even have to chisel that brick out and put a whole brick there. Maybe you have to chisel that out and put a replacement brick in there, seat it, get it set, and then just do it in sections and stuff like that. I don't quite fancy removing a ton of bricks from the wall and just repairing a lot of stuff. I'll have some mortar left over, I reckon. So like I said, I'm gonna like sketch up these and just see how they look, because ultimately I don't know how this is all gonna look when it's all done. I'm hoping it's going to look all right, so I can basically seal it and not have to plaster over it, but there you go. But it might be quite tight. So anyway, that's today's job. It shouldn't take too long, but yeah. Let's. Oh, my hand looks very red. I've already been busy. Yeah, let's get cracking. Hello, and we're back. I've had a bit of a clean up around the brickwork, and it looks much better. And let's take a closer look at the insidious hole of doom. You can see that it's pretty much free of any debris, and I've used a bolster to just chisel off any areas. This area here I need to remove, but I'm not actually going to remove that just yet until everything's mortared. Same for here. I'm going to leave that in for the time being until everything's mortared and ready to go in. I don't fancy really messing around with these bricks and stuff really. At the other end I've got a hole to figure out and all that kind of stuff. And then at the top we've got there's a hole there. And I'm just going to use half bricks and full bricks. I wanted to really try and match the brickwork with each other, but I couldn't find the bricks, and I didn't feel like trolling around reclamation yards and all that kind of stuff. So as it happens, we're just going to fill in the brick where we can do. It's not looking too bad actually at the moment, but there you go. Such is the way of things. So then, without further ado, I think we should maybe crack on with cutting bricks and mixing mortar, yeah. Okay, so we've got the first one in. It's not funny enough. The matching the brick isn't too bad. That's the new brick. I've mortared it all in around there and put some extra mortar in here. This needs to wait. This has been about what 3 to 5 minutes after I shoved it in. Another 5 minutes time, I'll give it a brush off, and then it should be all right. Yeah. So I'm pleased with that. I haven't done that one just yet. I need to mix up another batch of mortar. I'm going to have to do that another day because the light's fading here. It's almost 3 o'clock and I need to crack on with other bits and pieces. But I'm happy with that. And then hopefully, yeah, I'll come back in a couple of days' time and fix all this bit here. And then we'll get on with repointing. I'm pleased with how that looks so far. So we'll just have to see how it goes. I guess we'll come back in 10 minutes and find out what it's like. And hello, we're back. Welcome to the grotty wall. Right, let's have a look. So it's been just over 10 minutes and I had a bit of brush down of the brickwork. So let's take a look at the first one. And I think, oh, it's a bit dark, but I hope you can see there's the brick there, the new brick, and it looks pretty spot on, all the mortar. No signs of cracking, which is good. So I've mixed it up right. The brick here is a little dark, but what I'll do is I'll wait for it to dry fully for a day or so, and then I'll wire brush this and it'll just pop, hopefully. But I'm happy with all this kind of stuff. So with the mortar and stuff, I'm just going to go right ahead and just like mortar. Maybe at the weekend I'll get some mortaring done and hopefully get a large majority of this done. Now let's take a look at the other one, which is actually a better example. So yeah, so you can see the new brick there. Again, it doesn't look too out of place. I was worried it was going to be like too shockingly new, but actually it looks pretty cool, especially once you get a bit of mortar on there. It ages it quite nicely. And I think on the other one, just looking at the other one, it's already got some weird signs of aging, so that's all right. And then the other two, yeah, they look pretty tight and everything looks just pretty nice. Unfortunately, I don't think the lighting here is pretty good at the moment. It's just not, unfortunately, it's just not helping. I've done this too late in the day to get some good video, so I do apologise for the poor lighting. But we'll come out of this, we'll have a look at this in a few days' time and see how it looks, because I'm sort of really happy with how this is turning out, and hopefully I'm looking well, not hopefully, but I am looking forward to just basically doing the whole wall. But obviously the next project to get done is going to be get those in and replaced, which is they're going to be a bit of a nightmare. I'm going to have to figure out if I'm going to hack that out or not. I'm erring on the side it'll probably be easier to hack it out, put a new brick in there, and then build on that brick. Either I'm going to have to, yeah, I don't really want to hack, because that's going to have to be a little mini brick, half brick, resting on top of that, and then maybe hack this out here and put a mostly whole brick in there, and then I'll take that out, clean it out, put it back in, and then mortar it all up. And then of course there's that one up there, which I'll do as well. So when we come back, I'll have done hopefully that, maybe tidied up some here, and then I guess we'll start work on doing actually the whole mortaring shenanigans. And then once that's done, we'll have to take a step back once it's all dry and have a look and see how good it is. Because if it looks bobbins, I'm gonna have to plaster the whole thing, and I'll either do that myself or I'll get a contractor to come and do it for me. Or basically, if it looks all right, I'll seal it with a special sealer, and then that'll be it. And it'll be like a feature wall. And then we've got the decision of basically, because I've done one wall, it'll be prudent to probably do the rest of the wall down to the rest of the room here. So it means moving this, I guess, moving the table behind there and just getting rid of all this crappy plasterboard. And I think this is plasterboard here. That'll be good, yeah. So that'll be easy to get off. So get rid of it, and that's very poor anyway. So get rid of the plasterboard, any sort of plaster on the other side. Find out what's on the other side, because I've got a sneaky suspicion there's sort of weird pipes going on there. And just basically make the whole wall a feature wall, and then eventually put some nice up or down light on it so it gives some nice shadows. And we're getting ahead of ourselves. So yes, onwards and upwards. So yeah, thanks very much for checking this out. We'll hope you'll check back, and the studio continues, and we're hopefully going to get in for March. So for March I want all this sort of clear and ready to sort of like be able to do some working. Oh my god. See you later.